It's week 0, indubitably. Yes, it is. Welcome, guys, to Fattal Factor. I'm Tarek Fattal. Thanks for being here. We got a number of people in the chat already, people online watching. I hope that number continues to grow. We had a great first episode last week. Greg Biggins came on. W's in the chat for Greg Biggins. He was fantastic. I mean, talk about a rundown of all the great talent he covered. Deshaun Jackson, Deshaun Foster, Carson Palmer, the list goes on, D'Anthony Thomas. So times were good in episode 1, but it's on to episode 2. So thank you for joining. Look, no guests tonight per se. We got a lot to get to with week 0 starting on Thursday, but really Friday night. I got big games that I'm predicting. I pick a winner in about 7 games. Aram's got a couple other games we'll talk about, so maybe I'm picking 10 games, 8, 9, 10 games, something like that, 7 for sure. Some games important, big dog football, and it might set the tone for the rest of the year. Other games, not so important on the grand scheme. However, you know, some storylines to look into. But before we get into football, I thought to myself, hey man, this is my platform. I want the viewer to get to know me a little bit better. And so I thought, man, I'm going to share with them something that I've been kind of dealing with a little bit in the last probably 48 hours. And I just think we always look football, Saturdays, college, Sundays, NFL. I think we all kind of just want to enjoy it with the boys a little bit, right? Friendship, really important. And Aram, I know you're watching, so maybe we can chime in on this a little later, but I just felt it necessary. You know, I had a friend that I shared a core memory with last October, okay? And I'm going to run what that core memory was here. Give me 1 second. Here we go. You guys should be able to hear this. Tell me if you guys know what this is. Anybody in the chat that maybe want to take a guess at what I got a chance to witness live from like the 3rd row? I'll give you a hint. SEC. I'm just sharing my heart a little here with you. That's all. We'll get to the football. I mean, this is football. But I just felt like we picked this Alabama Vanderbilt game months in advance. We show up and we witnessed #1 Alabama lose at Vanderbilt in Nashville. And you want to hear something crazy, guys? Oh, you guys didn't see it. Hold on. Now, let me. I just messed up. I just messed that. Hold on. We're going to run that back. Hold on. Okay, now here we go. My apologies. I just messed that up. I'm sorry. I didn't click the transition button. Here it is. Sorry. 3rd row in Nashville. We show up. My apologies. And we see Diego Pavia, I believe was his name, who was like the king of college football for, I don't know, a couple weeks. They were running this Saban clip over and over. And my buddies and I took this trip, man. And again, just kind of sharing my heart a little bit, because I think there's part of it that, you know, I got my friends watching, they'll think it's funny. But I think anyone that can relate to a big moment like that might understand where I'm going to get at. So I had a friend that came with me to that trip. Within 2 weeks after that trip, core memory unlocked. Last correspondence with this guy was December of 2024. And out of nowhere, he texts me yesterday. Hey man, what's going on? Hope all is well. Miss you. Let's talk soon. Aram, I can't wait to ask you about what you would do with that friend, man. Can't wait to get your take on that. So I've been a little emotional. Football brings it out of you. You know what I mean? How do you go and watch Bama lose to Vanderbilt? All to enjoy it with your best buddies, and one of those buddies just like a vagabond, like a fart in the wind. Gone. Anyway, nevertheless, we got stuff to get to this episode. thank you everybody for joining. That was a little sloppy at the top, but I think you guys got the gist. There's a lot going on over here on the production side. However, wanted to share that with you guys. I did get to go watch Bama lose to Vanderbilt. That was pretty cool. We did pick that game months in advance. That was pretty awesome to see that unfold. That being said, well, this is how tonight's gonna go. Okay, I'm gonna run a breakfast burrito review here, and then I am going to bring on Aram. We'll talk breakfast burrito review. By the way, you're gonna want to stick around. This review was pretty good. It scored well. So good review coming. Bring on Aram. Talk about the review. Then I'm gonna show you guys a little snippet of Hamilton. I stopped off at Hamilton football practice, and Elijah Asante is like a total character, man. So little snippet on that, and then we're getting into the show. We're getting into picks. We're talking what's up with Calpreps.com. High school ratings, we'll talk Mission League, we'll talk Trinity League, and then I'll get to you guys chatting a little bit here in a second. But I think it's time to cue the breakfast burrito review. What's up, guys? Tarek Fattal here. Another breakfast burrito review coming your way. Listen, I'm in Beverly Hills. I know it's swanky. What can you do? But I was at Hamilton High School doing some work, and so I just typed in breakfast burritos in my Google Maps, and literally this place popped up. I had to put it to the test. Best damn breakfast burrito. Well, how can I not go? It was like a 12-minute drive from Hamilton High School, maybe a little bit more. We got a chorizo breakfast burrito. There's eggs. It comes with potatoes. I'm excited about this one now. I think the burrito, I gotta look, I think it was about $16. You know, it's Beverly Hills, I don't know. So, comes with some potatoes. Those look nice and crispy. Let's pop a couple of these bad boys real quick. Oh yeah. Ooh, nice and hot, flavorful. Ooh, the potatoes were good. Got an horchata, like how do you not, you know, when in Rome, right? I mean, my gosh. I like it a little bit more milky. It's kind of watery. Very cinnamony and watery, so not so great on the horchata, but that's okay. Okay, here's the burrito. Good size, good weight, nothing crazy. Actually, nicely wrapped with the tape. Very nice. Beverly Hills, man, they really do it big here, huh? Lot going on here. Love the tortilla. Wish it could be maybe a little more texture on the tortilla. Looks like it's just kind of like a warmed up tortilla, so to speak. I always like to see maybe a couple crisp or burn marks on it, just to let you know that they care. But nevertheless, let's get into it. Okay, first bite in, this is going to score well. This is going to score well. Good heat in there. Lot of mixture. Look at that. Look at that. Lot of mixture. We got the chorizo. We got the tater tot right there. We got some nice egg, fluffy, some cheese. This is going to score well, ladies and gents. I don't know about the best, but this might be one of my better reviewed burritos. I'm trying the avocado salsa now. I think this is gonna put it over the top. Uh-oh. Okay, touche, best damn breakfast burrito. Touche, this is pretty good. I'm popping the potatoes like popcorn. I'm impressed. I don't think this is gonna beat Sweet Savory out in San Dimas, but it's gonna be close. Another look at this on the inside. Just a lot going on.
Bro, can you hear me?
That's what we're looking for.
Okay.
A lot going on in that burrito, and that's where you get the flavor and the different textures in each bite. Chorizo's flavorful, and you know what? The kicker on this, what's going to up the points, not very greasy. My hands aren't dripping in chorizo grease or anything like that. This is a really nice burrito. Good heat, good flavor. Salsa's fantastic. I recommend the avocado salsa. Best damn breakfast burrito here in Beverly Hills. Okay, this will not be an all-time record. My all-time record is a 9.3, Sweet Savory San Dimas. The only burrito I think I've ever given a 9. I might have given a 9.1 once, maybe. 1 or 2 9s ever. This is going to be close. Now, my 9.3 Sweet Savory review, that had kielbasa sausage in it, flavors up the wazoo, and it was only $11. This is a $16 burrito. Great flavor. This is going to be top 3, top 4. This is going to be an 8.8. 8.8 for best damn breakfast burrito here in Beverly Hills. Holy cow, man. Anytime I'm on the west side, I might have to pop over here and get this. Fantastic. 8.8. That's the review. Beverly Hills. Maybe Not bad. Not a bad review right there. The salsa was good. I was not expecting to give a review that was close to 9. I think that is a top 3 or 4 rating right there. For a breakfast burrito that I've ever given. It was very good. And again, the $16, Daniel Thompson, $16 in this economy. Guys, thanks for watching. I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat. Steve Ramirez, thanks for joining. Armin Zargarian, Armin Sleazy, thanks for joining. Gabriel Marullo, thanks. Dallas, Rory. Guys, thanks for joining. I really appreciate it. We're gonna get Jordan Wild. No dad jokes. We might have to add that to the mix though, man. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to bring Aram on. Aram, I want your thoughts. That was a little choppy at the top. Sorry. I think you got the gist, though. So, Aram, when I bring you on here in a second, we got to do your intro. We'll get you going. But I want, top of top, I want your thoughts on my buddy that's disappeared, literally, after a once-in-a-lifetime moment. It's time to bring on our guy.
Tarek, bro, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
Aram, can you hear us?
Yep, of course. I got you.
Okay, I think we're good. I can, it's always hit or miss. Give me another check 1 2 real quick.
Check 1 2.
Yeah, we got you. I think we're good. I think levels are good. There's a setting. There's a little bit of like a chamber. I wouldn't call it an echo, but there's like this little chamber effect, and I think it's not necessarily me, but it's a setting I need to change. But you sound good. You look good, Aram. Hey, man, it's week 0, but before we get to that, I need your thoughts, man, on what to do with this friend that literally disappeared off the face of the earth, tried to correspond with him after such a great moment, and never really heard from him, and then out of the blue, man, he's here's the truth, he's getting married, and so all my buddies think that he's trying to kind of like get back in my good graces because he wants to invite me because he thinks I'm going to come to the wedding. So that's a little context for you. I want your thoughts on that, man, because you're a friend guy.
Yeah. Okay. I wasn't really understanding like the whole context of the disappearance. I was like, did he ghost you or did something happen to him?
Yes.
So he ghosted you.
Yes.
Okay. And now that you say that he's getting married, of course there's a woman behind all this. I would start there.
Okay.
And just forgive him because he's under the influence.
Oh man,
he's under the influence. And we've all been there, guys. I think it's all guys here right now. Of course, the viewership after that may be mixed, but yeah, we've all been there. And guys, Tarek, you're in your 30s, low 30s right now.
I'll be 36 in November.
Okay, mid low 30s. That is when like dudes start acting erratic. So it happens.
Okay.
You have to be. I believe now having some years on you and being through this, you got to be kind of understanding of people and why they do the things they do. And you're already like we talk about this a lot about not holding grudges and just kind of letting things slide, which I have a little bit of a problem with. But you tend to do very well handling those situations. And I think you just got to do that here. You're obviously not going to forget about it. It's just weird, though, to me. So, like, he watches with you Vandy beat Alabama, which at the time felt like monumental. But in actuality, Alabama kind of was mid last year.
Oh, okay. But they were number 1 at the time. Come on.
Yeah, right. And then they went on to, like, lose 4 more games or 3 more games.
And here's the kicker.
Well, I guess
this friend lives in Nashville. So we actually came out, like, to him, really. And
is he an Alabama fan?
No. I don't even think he's just a sports fan. But, yeah, man. And you know what? No, I appreciate your take. No ill will. Our friendship might not be the same, but we move on. But I appreciate you actually kind of nailed it without really knowing too much. So I appreciate that. On the moving on. Not talking about Tarek's personal life, of course. That's boring. What'd you think about the breakfast burrito review?
Okay, I like this one, man, and I actually thought you were going to score it higher. I mean, just going off looks and description and stuff, I thought this one was really sharp, and specifically the hash browns in the burrito. That's a nice touch, or tater tots.
Yes.
That's my kind of style of potato in a breakfast burrito. What I don't like is the kind of potato that they gave you on the side in the breakfast burrito. Now, on the side is sort of like, I don't know why they did that, but on the side, those are good. If they would have put that style of potato in the breakfast burrito, that might have been a deal breaker for me. I didn't really see much cheese, but I heard you say that was in there.
Yeah.
Overall, I thought it looked damn solid, man.
It was very good. I was impressed. Yeah, man, I was thoroughly impressed. I would go back again, and I highly recommend it. Yeah, the tater tots, a little bit different than, I mean, I guess it's technically kind of like a hash brown, or like, it's like if when they put a patty hash brown, or diner style hash browns in a burrito,
Yeah.
so you get kind of that crunch and crisp.
That's my style.
That the texture is, and that's kind of interesting, because if we really break down a burrito real quick, everybody out there, there's really two styles of breakfast burrito, in my opinion, and they're very different. You got the all-American, which is, your sausage, bacon, hash brown, egg, cheese, and then you've got your Mexican-style breakfast burrito. Chorizo, salsa, cheese, maybe some different stuff in there. And they really have different, flavor identifiers, per se. I'm more of a Mexican style, and I think you are too. Or you like kind of the all-American, you want like bacon, sausage, and ham in there.
Yeah, original to my first try is got to be bacon, like I said, as sort of a baseline, and then I said, the key to me to a good breakfast burrito is American cheese in there, not cheddar, not that cheddar jack combination that a lot of these burger places are using now, like on their chili fries and in their tacos and of course in the breakfast burrito. I like American cheese in there. I think it plays very well in a breakfast burrito.
All right, no, appreciate it. That's a good review. I didn't expect, like, hey, we got an 8-8 in week 2 of this show, and I thought that was pretty impressive. Okay, Aram, before we get into the nitty gritty, I want to show the viewers, and I already sent you the sneak peek, so I want your comments on Asante and Hamilton. It's only like 3 minutes, but I want people to know that when I run this clip, just know that most high school coaches don't talk like this. Can you at least back me up on that, Aram, when they see this?
Yeah, Coach Asante is very slick. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you guys are gonna love this guy. I mean, there's no wonder media love this guy, because he just says it like it is. But he's got a big time quarterback. He's got a 6'4", 205-pound, 15-year-old freshman quarterback.
Yeah, wait till you see this.
Thaddeus Bro. And again, this is a sneak peek. More coming, so you don't really get to see him throw here. But you're going to see the way Asante talks about Bro. And then I even talked to Thaddeus Bro's dad about all the hype. Here is a sneak peek on Hamilton. Coach Asante is barking all kinds of funny stuff that we're going to talk to him about today, and how good their team's going to be. And I mean, this guy's telling me that he's going to beat Gardena Serra in week 1. So that's on a Thursday night here at Hamilton High School. So we'll see how that goes. But he keeps talking to me about his freshman quarterback that's 15 years old and already 6'5" or something. And he keeps saying that he will be the number 1 pick in the NFL one day or something like that. So I'm like, Coach, that's on the record? And he's like, oh no, I'm not messing around. I'm like, all right, well, let's go check him out. This is really kind of like your first year.
This is it.
You coached last year, and that's technically on the books, but this is really your first off season, a first opportunity to build some culture, get these guys in the weight room.
They pulled me out. I didn't even want to do it. I'm like, nah, I'm not interested, because I've been out for 8 years.
Yeah.
And then the athletic director called me, and while I'm on the phone talking to him, we talked for a long time.
Okay.
And I drove over here, man, and this was all dirt, and they got the big-ass lights. And this place, they've always played day games. I'm like, and so that was like a big attraction for me, like saying.
Playing in the day?
All of their games were day games.
And you like that?
No.
Okay, yeah, that would be like a turnoff.
It's the fact that they had lights now.
Got it.
I wanted to be the one that, like, that kind of.
Okay.
That was
you knew this was coming. You saw the vision.
I saw it coming. Yeah. So once that happened, then I was like, man, I'm gonna do it. Thaddeus Bro is our franchise quarterback. I believe he's the number 1 quarterback in the country right now. I mean, there's no one in the class of 29.
Thaddeus Bro, you are a freshman, and how much you weighing these days, man?
Around 205.
Okay. And what's Coach Asante been like? He told me he thinks you'll be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft one day. I know you've heard him say that. Yeah. How do you react to something like that?
I don't like to overestimate myself. So
Good for you. Okay.
I always like to downplay it, but it just puts a little bit of pressure on me, because he has a lot of expectations for me. but you know, pressure is good. So my goal is just to live up to those expectations.
Okay.
And it is no pressure. It's just high school football. How's that no pressure?
But for him, this is all that matters, though, Coach.
It's all that matters to me too. Ain't no pressure. It's just a game.
Coach Asante has not been shy about saying that he believes your son is an NFL first-round draft pick, #1 overall draft pick. I mean, on the record, it's being used, it's being inked. Your thoughts on that?
My thought is, our ultimate goal is the NFL. You know, nobody's ever been shy by saying they want to be a doctor. Nobody's ever been shy by saying they want to be an attorney. You know, he wants to be an NFL player. So, far be it from me to tell him he can't be an NFL player. However, I'm instilling certain values in him, to whereas if he has to pivot, he can easily pivot. But the ultimate goal, plan A, is the NFL.
Sorry, I had to unmute. Aram, that's pretty hefty stuff there. I tell you what, it's kind of refreshing, and I need to put this back up so you can see the monitor here. There you go, Aram. So you should see something now. We'll get to high school ratings here in a second, Calpreps, but I want your reaction to that. You know, you get the coach that is over the moon about his player, and then you get the dad that's pretty much embracing it. And I liked his point. He goes, hey, man, young people aspire to be doctors. They talk about it. They aspire to be lawyers. They talk about it. What's wrong with my son saying he wants to go to the NFL? It's somewhat taboo a little bit with the pressure and things, but I want your take on this stuff.
First of all, that Raiders jacket, starter Raiders jacket with the collar up, doesn't get any better, man.
I know, man.
That's as good as it gets.
Yeah.
You can see that Coach Asante has swag, obviously, and you know, like it goes back to the whole "I don't recruit, I attract." You can see why he attracts. The guy is smooth. That Raiders jacket is just phenomenal, Tarek. Believe me when I tell you. As far as the kid's concerned, yeah, it's pretty amazing specimen for you know, that age, and you know, I agree. You know, if your aspiration, I think we've kind of over the years looked down on, you know, kids aspiring to be NBA, WNBA, MLB, NFL players, as, hey, you know, just take that as, if that happens, that's great. It's a bonus, but you know, you got to have other things in the bank. Like an education, like a degree. And for a lot of kids, I think sometimes it can be an all or nothing proposition, which is sort of dangerous. But on the flip side, in order to get to that place, you do kind of need to make this the main thing in your life. So how do you find that balance between grades and maybe a regular career, if you will, if football doesn't work out, if the odds, you know, are so stacked against you, you know, they're stacked against all these kids making it to a pro level. You do need to have some sort of backup or fall back. And that's tough, man. You know, I mean, what the balance is, I don't really know, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with dreaming big and working hard for it. And when you have that sort of frame and this kind of hype coming, you know, why not?
Yeah, he's impressive, and you know, physical kid, throws a great ball. Very, very mature. Even in the speaking a little bit, you could kind of tell. Not afraid to have a conversation with an adult. You know, not super gregarious by it, but smiling, seems comfortable. Answered the questions, had some fun, and I thought that was quite impressive. So he could be. I mean, Asante could be onto something. And then the last ad that everyone's going to say, and even a couple people in the chat already are giving the over-under how many years he's there, because the big schools are going to come calling. According to Asante, there already have been schools trying to get bro to leave, but the family's sticking around for now. So we'll see what Asante can build over at Hamilton. You know, it's the city section school. It's just city section sports, unfortunately, isn't what it used to be, but they got a brand new stadium. That's cool. They play Sarah Gardena, they play Loyola, they play Crenshaw, and then they get into the Western League. I believe they're in the Western League, so they play like Palisades and other schools like that. And I think Venice is another school in the Western League. So, yeah, we'll see how they go. We'll see how he does. He told me he wants to pass for 3,000 yards, so that would be pretty impressive for a freshman at any level. Aaron, we'll keep it moving, man. I got the website up here. I think we want to get to the highschoolratings.com, man. For those that don't know, this used to be called Calpreps. I'm going to try and make it a little bit bigger here because I feel like that would benefit the stream a little bit. And look, right now it doesn't look like much, but what this is a huge database of high school football. I mean, look at all the states here: Alabama, California, District of Columbia, West Virginia. I mean, the list goes on, and you can come in here and check score projections, rankings. I mean, it really is an impressive site with all the states, the state associations, and so on. And this used to be called calpreps.com, and it used to be free. Now they're charging people. And you only get a certain amount of clicks a day pending on what you bought. For example, there's unlimited. I forgot what the price is, but I want to say
$140.
$140 unlimited. I think I paid
per month, right?
I think so. And then I think you can pay like $20 and get 10 clicks for a day. I paid whatever the middle one is. It's like 40 clicks a day. So I might run out even here on the stream. But I want, very odd dynamic now, given that so much information people come to this site for, and now it's basically behind a paywall. Yeah, man, it's a little unfortunate, but I also get it. I don't know, Aram. Go ahead. I'll let you go on this one.
Well, with a very basic format, a very user-friendly one, they built up quite a following. It was the go-to database, at least for California, and especially the southern section that I know of. Everybody used it, not just media, but coaches, parents, players, fans, whatever it might be. The standings are top-notch. I don't think anyone was really going there for their score projections on games, but it was, like I said, a very user-friendly experience to look at standings and schedules and stuff like that, and just kind of cross-reference things. The tier, and I should also say, through the years, Tarek, they would have these cries for payment here and there, where they would like shut down their site and then, say that they wanted money. So them monetizing it is not really a surprise.
Yeah.
But the way they monetized it is not cool. I think there's one subscription that gives you five views a day. I don't know what anyone's going to do that. 5-page views a day. And that one's not very cheap either. When CIF...
Sorry, at the bottom here, I don't know. At the bottom here, I'm going to highlight it. Again, it might be hard to see on the stream, but does not count as page view. I still have 16 page views left today. So I think I bought whatever 20 page views, or maybe it's 40 page views, because I was on here earlier today. But yeah, man, it's a little, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Keep going. Sorry, I interrupted you. Oh, pricing structure. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Sorry, real quick. This is because we were talking about it. So for $15, 5 page views a day. For $40, it's 20 page views a day. And you were right. $140 for unlimited. Go ahead.
Yeah. Here's my issue with this overall. I got no problem with anybody trying to monetize something and make money.
Sure.
This is free market capitalism, which I am a big believer in and a fan of. That's all great. The pricing is ridiculous. They needed a better price structure plan, but that's whatever. My issue here is the partnership with CIF, since CIF, part of the format, I believe, Tarek, for the playoff divisions is using Calpreps ratings. And that's, it's a good power rating to use to come up with your divisions, and it helps the fans kind of follow along. But if you've priced fans out from being able to follow this all year long, and then you're going to spring it on them right after week 10 as we, release the playoff brackets, well, here's the way things shook out, and nobody had any idea kind of that was what was coming, as if they would have last year, when they were able to see how things kind of looked going into week 10. I think that's kind of a crappy thing to do to the fans. Now, Freddie, our boy Fred Robledo, I guess, or maybe it was you, has been in contact with CIF about this. Yeah. And CIF has told him that they're trying to work on a solution for this. I think they kind of know that there needs to be a happy medium in this situation. If this is going to be what we're using, or part of what we're using to determine what the CIF playoff brackets are, then there needs to be transparency. And there's just not going to be when you're on this sort of pricing tier for, again, a very, very basic, digital platform. Also, I don't like hearing that reference to their ratings and stuff like that is now frowned upon by media, from what I understand. Again, hearing that from Freddie.
Yeah.
That they feel like that's giving away their IP.
Yeah, it's listen, and you know what? It's like a chihuahua barking a little bit. Listen, I think they put down there, you know, to maybe kind of scare you, but I don't think they can really actually do anything. Now, I'm on here now live, but I'm only you know, it's like,
yeah, they're probably pissed or will be.
Yeah, but I mean, like, everyone's 0-0. You know what I mean? Like, and look, I might show it again. Big deal. Like, I paid for it.
Yeah, but they're gonna know who you are, dude. Like, they know who Freddie is. Like, if you know.
All right, you know, I'll just make another email. I'll just have Bree sign up. Big deal. You know, I mean, it's like, everybody knock it off. You know, I get it, but it's I don't know. I don't know. I don't. It's hard to, you know, I don't want to be mean. You know, I get it. You want to make money. I was thinking, hey, why not go and try and find advertising for this bad boy? I mean,
yeah, right.
Yeah,
Another
like,
way to monetize.
Clearly there's traffic and clearly there's numbers. So why not try and get an advertiser for it? And I think you could. I don't know. And I just think it's odd. And you're right. And Shermer in here has a good, you know, he says, how does CIF still say this is going to be transparent when it is behind a paywall? And he's got a point there. Now, obviously there are people that are going to pay, but if you're going to, you know, people are going to get in trouble for sharing the information. So even the people that have paid can't share, right? So, I mean, he's got a point there, and it's very, very odd. So he said media can post the projections of individual games. You know, and it sounds like you have to be buddy with the guy that created it too. I would
just warn these guys, Tarek. I don't mean to cut you off, but I would just warn these guys, you know, there's nothing special about your platform, really. I mean, that is just basically a digital Excel sheet. That's not anything, that's not difficult for anybody to duplicate. Now, whether people want to do that and you know, put a little software code into it and do it, you know, who knows? But be careful, man. Those who sweat themselves find themselves by themselves.
Ooh, okay? Hey, repeat that again, right into the camera.
That's a line from "I Got a Man," that song by Positive K, the rapper. I got a man. He says, "Those who sweat themselves find themselves by themselves."
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, man. That's a loose quote, by the way.
Does it come off? I don't see, and you make a good point. Like, I'm all good for people making money. I don't know, man. Does it seem greedy to you?
It's an overreach for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I get it. You know, they had kind of been hinting here and there. Like, I would tell Freddie, they would have these cries for help, you know, it was like around every 5 years, like, hey, you know, we can't, they would put out like a message on their thing. We can't keep doing this for free. It's a lot of work. We need donations. We need money. And then, you know, things would get resolved, or else, you know, Calpreps won't be available for XYZ season. And then things would get resolved. But this, like I said, is an overreach. It's, you know, $140 for unlimited is kind of ridiculous for what you're getting here.
And I'm kind of thinking, okay, and I'm just look, I haven't thought this through. I'm just thinking about this now. How about if you're someone that runs the site, how about reaching out to the media members and finding some type of happy medium way to, I don't know, maybe we almost become like a conduit between follower and site in a friendly manner. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking out loud. Now it's like, I mean, I don't know. There's some media members out there. I won't say names, but I think there's some media members out there that I've been told firsthand. I just won't reveal who this is, but with emails back and forth with the creator of the site, like getting chippy, and we're not even through week 0 about information being shared or asking questions about the site, and it's kind of like, oh well, if you're unhappy, I'll just go ahead and give you your money back. Be on your way. It's like, I don't know. I get this like kind of gremlin in the basement, you know, coding, you know, this is mine, you know, kind of thing going.
I like what Daniel Thompson in the chat says. He says, as a man who builds websites for a living, this is a pathetic excuse for a website.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't go so far as to say pathetic, but very basic, which again is part of the user friendliness of it, man.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of click through, which is nice.
Yeah. And look, and I do want to say aesthetically, it's not great, but it does provide a lot of information. For those that don't really know, what's beautiful about this is people that are sports fans will get this almost automatically. Imagine how the BCS, Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong here, but basically it's the BCS computer system for high school sports, for high school football. And as wins and losses happen, your rating, depending on the difficulty of that opponent, win or loss, will manipulate your rating and your rank almost instantaneously. So for someone that's not quite sure what we're talking about, this is a website where right after a win or a loss, within, 30 minutes, you can come on here, maybe even quicker than that, and see where you dropped. And then at the end of the year, the CIF takes all the rankings and creates the playoff division. So just for a few out there that aren't super familiar, though I'm sure 90% of the audience is, that's what's so important about this. But now it's behind a paywall, and I think a lot of people have been telling me that they just go to Max Preps. And
that's what I've been doing.
I think the algorithm's not too much different.
It's more click through. There's more clicking
I get
around.
the navigation, but I'm just talking about the math that creates.
Oh, okay.
Like teams aren't going to be identical because I think the math.
It's all strength of schedule, dude.
Yeah,
that's all this thing is. That's all their power rating is. There's nothing elaborate to it. That's all it can be. Because how do you have further insight into any of these teams?
Yeah, I don't know. I would say just from being with High School on SI and SB Live, and they have their own. Everyone's got their own like exclusive coding and math that creates these ratings. So there is going to be some differences because the math's a little different and what they equate and what they don't equate. No one's got like the secret sauce. So that's all I'm saying is, on Max Prep, Sierra King, it might be 4, but here they're 3. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Hopefully things get figured out. I tried to circumvent it by being like, hey, Tarek or Freddie, just give me your user and password. But they got like a Netflix thing going on.
Oh, yeah, you have to like identify and you have to check into an email. Daniel Thompson doubles down and goes, bro built this using a raw HTML and ChatGPT.
And he's also pissed that he lost his chat status. I guess that Tarek and I don't control this, but like TK is number 1 right now.
Yeah, no, I don't think Daniel cares. Rory is who cares because he was number 1 for a little bit, and now he's down to 3, and so TK's been lighting him up. Now that's Daniel. As much as I think he loves supporting us, doesn't give a rat's ass about his chat rank. But but I'll tell you right now, when he chimes in strong. The HTML line was solid. Anything else on Calpreps?
No, nothing, man. Let's get down to some football, Tarek.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Last thing here, so interesting for this. This is Shermer. So interesting. Yeah. So interesting thing is for any FYI, a loss to a team ranked above by 28 or more is pretty much a net 0 gain or loss. So there's a threshold on the loss, like basically 28 or more, like doesn't even matter. It could be 50. It's the same as 28, as I think what Shermer is saying. Okay, Aram, do you want to get to picks, or do we want to talk a little Trinity League, Mission League real quick? We'll keep it to like 10 minutes, and then we'll go into predictions.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Maybe less.
I want to get to the biggest games, obviously, but yeah, I mean, we can preview those two leagues.
We'll keep it moving. Let me get
And while Tarek's doing that, everybody, I just want to remind you guys, great that we have almost 60 here in the chat. Please tell your friends about this show. Tell them to jump on as well and check it out. We're trying to grow this thing. The coverage, the topics, the everything, the guests, all that's going to keep getting better and better, when the games actually start as the sports year gets going. So we appreciate all you guys here. We need your help. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, and let's do this.
The number 1 hype man. Aaron, you can see you can see all this on the screen, right? You're good. You can see all this. Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, we'll get this quick because I know we got to get to some picks, and we'll be all right. I think we go till about 10 after, maybe 9:15 will be good. Okay, you want to do Mission League or Trinity League first?
Let's go Mission.
Okay, so I'll start with doing some freelance with the Daily News. Pretty much been writing all the preseason coverage on. For those that don't know, Daily News, Haley Sawyer was the full-time prep writer, and now she's on the USC beat, and it's just the truth. I'm not, trying to talk smack. It's a benefit for me. I'm making a little extra coin on the side, but the Daily News is not hiring a full-time prep writer. They're not. So they're trying to patch it together with freelance. So I'm helping them out as best I can. That being said, I did it for 8 years, so it's not too hard, and I know all the coaches. So it's been kind of fun, actually, kind of getting back and talking to these guys. So I did Mission League, and I did a predicted finish. I'll tell you what I did, Aram, and then I want your reaction. Look, Sierra Canyon is going for what would be their 4th Mission League title in a row. Let me size this up a little here. That might be a little too big. Okay. So look, this is big boy football, and I think they've now proven that they are a Division I caliber team. 3-4 years in a row, they got the big dogs to do it. I think they're going to win another Mission League title. Aram, this will be their 4th season, so they've won it each time. They joined in 2022, so 2022, 23, and last year 24. So they have 1 Mission League loss. They're 15 and my math is really bad. 14-1. In those 3 years. I think
who beat them?
Actually, Amat in 2022.
Ooh.
Isn't that funny? Yeah, okay. And then, ironically, in those same 3 years they've won the title, Sarah Gardena has finished 2nd. In fact, Sarah Gardena's only losses the past 2 years have been to Sierra Canyon. So, to me, these are the top 2 teams, man. And it whenever they play, that's generally what decides the Mission League title. So, no surprise here. We're moving on. Sierra Canyon and Gardena Sarah. I got Chaminade at number 3. I think they only won 2 or 3 games last year, but what I like about them is they had a little bit of injuries last year. They got a quarterback named Cameron Poole, who is now the guy. He was a sophomore last year and was kind of working his way through, and now he's going to be the guy. And then what I like about Chaminade, they're big up front. They're big and they're experienced up front, Aram, and that to me is I think that's going to be the difference maker come October. So I like that they have a budding junior quarterback that knows he's got the job. They got a linebacker kind of running back sometimes when they need it, and Ron L. Hewitt going to UNLV, big physical guy. But the offensive line for me at Chaminade is why I'm putting them in 3rd. I think they're going to surprise some people. And then I'll be quick for these final 3. Notre Dame, I just think they got some firepower. Wyatt Brown is the quarterback from Santa Monica, lefty. Really, really good. And then they got the USC wide receiver, Luke Weaver, who I think is like 6'3", 210. I mean, just like specimen, man. Fast, physical, and they bring back a lot of experience on the defense. Now, I don't know how talented it is, but it's a lot. There's a lot of returners there. So I like that. And then it's really a toss-up between Loyola and Bishop Amat, and here's why. Loyola had this huge exodus. They lost their star running back, Sean Morris, I believe his name was, and he went to OLU. And then they lost Brendan Lockhart. USC defensive back, stud. He's at Sierra Canyon. Now, they do have Max Meyer, Nathan Turk. They got some guys up front. Zach Harrison at tight end, a San Diego commit. So they've got some guys. So I gave them the edge over Amat because I'm kind of giving the nod to continuity and Kasani. And despite losing guys, they're still moving, if that makes sense. Amat, to me, I had to go last just because I don't know what to expect, and you're asking Corey Minor to come back and almost kind of reinvent the wheel. So just given that there's going to be time for that to boil and stew, I just don't know what kind of year Bishop Amat's going to have this year. Last ad, Bishop Amat, for those that don't know, back-to-back losing seasons for the first time in program history, and went 0-5 in the Mission League last year. Aram? It's all yours.
I take an overview approach to this league. I have wondered why it has slipped from being the number 2 league in Southern California, unquestionably behind the Trinity League, for several years, to now. Sometimes we think the baseline may be the second best league,
even the Alpha League, which is like Mission Viejo, Edison.
Yeah, I was going to say, or some of the Orange County leagues, not that have the public schools like San Clemente and Mission Viejo, Los Al, and I don't see this league, at least entering the season, as really having much of an argument to be that number 2 overall league in SoCal. Sierra Canyon, I do believe is top 3. I think that's fair, and I think they may push a modern day if they face them much harder than they've pushed them before. But the rest of the league as a collective just hasn't done much and has slid actually a little bit. So that's my thoughts there. We're going to find out a lot about Bishop Amat on just how bad or just how improving things are on Friday. And we'll do the same with Loyola. And the other three teams, the other three teams, to me, they're about the same as they were last year.
Yeah. Last ad on the Mission League, if you remember, Notre Dame, Loyola, and Chaminade all finished 2 and 3 in league, and there was coin flips to decide that third place. So 5th place was 2 and 3, and 3rd place was 2 and 3. That's how close the middle of that table was in that league. Okay, on to the Trinity League, and I don't think we'll take too much time in here. Obviously, again, week 0, everyone's 0 and 0. The question here isn't so much modern-day Bosco, so we won't even talk about them. The question is, who's going to finish 3rd in that league? Aram, I'll let you start first.
You know, you and I have discussed this several times over the last couple weeks, and finally you broke through on Sunday while I was driving home from Del Mar, which is why I'm a different shade of red today, because despite putting on sunscreen at Del Mar on Sunday, I still got burnt. But you convinced me about Santa Margarita, and I did not really like what I saw from them at Edison. Now, maybe they don't have all their horses at that point. I don't think Mosley was out there. It's tough, Tarek. There are some teams that I just kind of really don't dig in that league that I don't think are going to make much of an impact, just going off what I hear and what I saw out at that tournament, and that's Jay Sarah and Servite. Just talent-wise, they're not where they need to be. So that kind of leaves Santa Margarita and Olu for that number 3 spot. And I've heard good things about Olu, even though they lost, the Talanoa Eli kid. He, moved to Hawaii. He's going to play out there this year, the USC 4-star linebacker commit. I still hear pretty decent things about Olu there. And you saw Chris Ford's updated transfer log. I think they have 28. Again, we don't know what number of that is football, but you got to figure a good amount. So I'm going to go Santa Margarita there for number 3.
Yeah, Santa Margarita is not a bad pick. And the truth of the matter is, I think Jay Sarah, Olu, Servite, and Santa Margarita, that's what kind of makes that league fun. That's what's interesting is Bosco and Mater Dei are so far ahead. The fun part of the league is all the other teams. I mean, that's pretty much what we're talking about. So, yeah, you know what's kind of interesting? The OC Register had Jay Sarah at number 12 in their top 25, which is pretty low to me if you're thinking about just Orange County. So I don't know how much you want to read into that. Jay Sarah's first game is against Sierra Canyon. So
yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. So yeah. I don't know. To me, I'm actually kind of thinking, I don't know, man. I got to think Santa Margarita, yes, but their schedule is literally one of the toughest in the country. Viejo, Centennial. Yeah. They got this random game at Highland. Okay, fine. And they'll go win that. But talk about you're just getting beat up every Viejo, Centennial. Okay, Highland. Oaks probably should still win the game, but you got to travel to Westlake Village, and they got talent. You know what I mean? And then you got to play Bishop Gorman, like number 2, number 3 team in the country. And then you start Trinity League play. And they have to play Mater Dei and Bosco in back-to-back weeks, man.
Yeah, rough.
So, and then after those 2 games, you got to get up for Orange Lutheran and Jay Sarah. I don't know, man. It is a sip of water out of a fire hydrant for Carson Palmer. So that is going to be a tough task. Something about me, and we'll get to this in a second. This is a perfect segue. I like Servite. Chris Reinert's got it going. I think that they're on to something over there. That's I don't know why. I just Servite to me is the team that I think is going to surprise people.
We need the Trinity League people in here and watching this show
to chime in. That's fair.
Yes, and well, not only that, but just to be a part of it. I mean, here's some innovative Trinity League coverage. We're going to talk a lot about them this year. Obviously, those are big fan bases. There's nothing like this show. Get your Trinity League friends in here. I'm adding them in tweets. Tarek says I may be a little thirsty doing that. But we want you guys in here because they are a big topic of conversation every week and in every circle. Everyone kind of keeps one eye on that.
We'll get them in.
Now, Tarek, something about me, okay? As we get into game predictions, all right?
Here we go. Last part.
I don't know if you guys know this, but I can tell how good or bad a team's going to be simply by looking at their team photo.
Okay.
Okay. You know, the team photos that they take, you know, all the players in a row, the coaches, you know, in their polos, the players in their full gear, you know, standing on, you know, different levels or whatever, professional team photo shot. You submit that to Aram, and I'll tell you what kind of season you're going to have. I can tell how a team is going to be judging purely by their team photo.
Well,
go on.
Perfect timing, because I just got an alert to who subscribed to the channel.
Someone subscribe?
Victor.
Money making Mike. All right. Yeah.
My guess is now that he's subscribed, he should be able to chat. So we'll see if he chimes in. Mike, if you're watching, you tuned in at the right time. We're basically on the back 3-4 holes here of this show. We're gonna go through these games and we're gonna pick them. So why did he scroll back up to the blonde lady in the video? Yeah, I was kind of, you know, to be honest, she's gone now. I was wondering what that was about. That was like a video embedded in the site. I don't know what she was talking about. Obviously, I have it on mute, but she did catch my eye. I was like, who is that? Okay. I think we just go down the gauntlet, or is there another game you want to start with, Aram?
No.
Okay, I think look.
You take them in any order, man.
Okay, Mission Viejo at Santa Margarita. Look, obvious reasons. You know, big game down in Orange County, public school, private school. It is Carson Palmer's coaching debut. He's at home, you know, Trabuco Hills, right? That's where they're playing their games. New quarterback in Trace Johnson, out-of-state commit. Trent Mosley, as you alluded to, the Trinity League MVP from not last year, but the year before. I don't know, man. Are we going to see a brand new Santa Margarita? Or is it going to be Mission Viejo, the well-oiled machine with Luke Fahey, the Ohio State commit at quarterback, and Vance Spafford, the Miami commit, you know, scoring 2-3 touchdowns running down the field? What do you think, Aram?
I think Mission Viejo wants to win over a Trinity League team. You know, that goes a long, long way. But on the flip side, Santa Margarita, if you can't beat Mission Viejo, then what makes you think you're going to be able to hang around with the rest of your schedule? Now, I get it. Mission Viejo is probably a top 5 team this year in SoCal. But, you know, when you have aspirations, and they do, of beating Bosco, of beating Mater Dei, if you can't beat Mission Viejo, then what becomes of those aspirations? And like you said, we just don't know what to expect out of Carson Palmer as the head coach. I think the rest of the coaching staff is pretty proven, but what do you get out of him? I swear I saw his brother Jordan Palmer, who's a very, very, very good QB savant, if you will, out
Jordan
at
Palmer.
Edison as well. I don't think he's an official coach. I could be wrong about that, but he was out there kind of giving pointers to their QB. They have a brain trust there, man. Do they have the talent, though? This to me is the biggest game of the week overall in SoCal, coming up this week. It's just going to tell us so much about both teams. As far as prediction goes, I'm going to pick Mission Viejo here just because the QB, I will assume Spafford's playing. You know, I will assume he kind of got over his illness. But Mission Viejo has questions as well. So I'm going to lean Mission Viejo in this spot. What do you got?
Yeah, man. Right predictions right here. Fahey puts on a clinic and wins the day. Mission Viejo.
What do you mean by clinic?
I just think something about last year, he had to split reps. Like they had this system where it wouldn't matter if you threw a touchdown, how well you were playing. It was like you'd get a series, you'd get a series. Okay, maybe you'd get 2 in a row, then the other guy would get 2 in a row. Trudeau was the kid's name, if I'm not mistaken. So Luke Fahey was not the full-time quarterback at Mission Viejo last year. So something about week 0, I'm the guy, I'm playing the whole game. And so I'm wondering if he throws like 4 or 5 touchdowns, which would be pretty impressive against what would you think of being a Trinity League defense. So we'll see. I don't know if there's a lot of scoring. I don't know if it's a blowout. Obviously, you know, I'm like, of course, nobody knows, but I'm predicting Fahey dials it up with a full football game, which he really hasn't been able to play in quite some time. So
right.
Give me Mission Viejo. Okay.
Yeah, I think the chat agrees with Mission Viejo.
Everyone's saying MV. Mike
That's
Victor's
scary.
texting me. This is great. Okay, so he's saying, I won't give the details, but he's saying that Spafford is like questionable. I think that's a fair. So we'll see.
Yeah, like I said, he wasn't at the Battle of the Beach, which is now a good month ago, and he's kind of had a shaky summer as far as availability. I don't know what's going on there, if there's more to it than what we know, but hopefully he's out there. If he's not, that's a deal breaker, and I'll switch to Santa Margarita.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think they'll be okay. But yeah, we'll see. Okay, Jay Sarah at Sierra Canyon. Yeah, Sierra Canyon hosting a Trinity League team. This seems to be two teams that play each other every year, and I think Sierra Canyon's got has the series on this. I should have looked that up and I didn't. But again, to your point, Aram, in week 0, we've got these litmus test games where, it's like this team's ceiling is here. Well, you need to win this game to prove you can reach that ceiling. So though Jay Sarah, even to the OC Register, is the 12th team in Orange County, according to the OC Register, which tells me maybe no one thinks Jay Sarah's that good, but maybe that's what Jay Sarah wants. It's like, hey, no one's really talking about us. We got all these teams right where we want them. So to me, pressure's on Sierra Canyon, man. There's a belief that this is the best team they've had, and they are. I mean, you heard Greg Biggins say last week, I think Sierra Canyon is closing the gap on the Mater Days and the Boscos of the world. Sierra Canyon's biggest question mark to me is their quarterback. They have a transfer named Laird Finkel, and he came from Santa Barbara, and I believe he's coming off injury. I just don't know if they'll be able to score at a high clip, or, I'm not, maybe he's great. I don't know. He's just a question mark, and I think that's fair. So we'll see how that goes. If there's one thing that we know about Sierra Canyon, and I think pound for pound could even be as good as a Mater Dei or a Bosco, and that's that defense. Holy cow. Every one of their defensive backs is going Division I. We're talking like a couple USC guys, a Kansas guy, a junior that's got like 16 offers. And then you got Jay Sarah, who's, I don't know, learning life without their quarterback because Ryan Hopkins transferred to Mater Dei. So, Aaron, what do you got?
The pressure in this game is on Sierra Canyon to look like the number 3, maybe even number 2 team in Southern California. If they are that, they need to give Jay Sarah a beatdown that would be tantamount to what Mater Dei or Bosco would do to them, and then we can tell. So they need to make a statement here. Flip side, Jay Sarah saw them also out at Edison, and I don't want to put tons of stock into passing games, but it is what it is. I mean, these are the only clues that we have so far. Was not impressed at all with them offensively. If that's the skill talent they have for the schedule and the league that they're in a lot of trouble. Okay. They're not in any way going to test Sierra Canyon. Conversely, defensively, I thought they were very, very solid. Coach Santa Cruz will have them schemed very well. They'll be in the right spots defensively. Now, are they athletic enough to make the plays from those spots? I overall think most of the time, yes. I think this will be a pretty good defense will be the strength of that team. Now, is it strength enough to win games like this? No. I think this is a blowout. I'd be surprised if Jay Sarah cracks double digits in this game. And that will depend on the Sierra Canyon coaching staff and how long they want to turn the screws on this team. That's where I'm at with Jay Sarah right now.
I put I picked Sierra Canyon too, and I put the defense leads the way in a low scoring victory. I'm kind of feeling not a lot of points. I'm thinking like I don't know if 21's a lot of points. I don't think it is. 3 touchdowns. So I'm thinking like a 21-6 or something. So something like that. I don't know if it'll get crazy, but maybe it does. So that's my I picked Sierra Canyon. I'll let you go here first on this one. Servite at Corona Centennial, Trinity League. And we forgot to mention earlier when you're talking about the leagues, yes, Trinity, you said the baseline, Alpha. Hey man, how about the Big West? Corona Centennial, Murrieta Valley, runner-ups in Division 2. Chaparral's not all that bad. Norco can have some decent teams, although they've been a little down recently. So even the Big West upper league, it has some firepower. But Servite at Corona Centennial, what do you think, Aram?
I think this is kind of like the Mission Viejo Santa Margarita game as well, in terms that both teams kind of need something here to make a statement. Servite needs to kind of show that the fears that are out there about them being woefully behind the rest of the Trinity League are unfounded. They need to show progress from last season. That's very key here. But Centennial, Catman Jr., I know it's not his son, but, I like to call him Catman Jr. Catalano taking over at QB needs to show that he's the man.
Yeah,
obviously, upstairs, he's going to be well prepared, right? But, what's the rest of their offense look like? What is sort of their speed outside look like? Is it elite enough? Do they have the skill guys enough to show that they could hang with this upper echelon of D1? Those are the interesting things. So once again, a score we're going to be looking at, storylines we're going to be trying to examine to get clues on these two teams. What do you got? Yeah. Oh, and as far as pick, I'm going Centennial.
Yeah, I kind of went the other way with it, man. I picked Servite. I took a little bit of a flyer. I mentioned earlier, I like Servite. I like Coach Chris Reinhardt. I like the discipline they come in. I don't know if you remember, but they had a great start last year. I could probably look it up. They kind of fizzled at the end. It's almost like they ran out of gas, but they were, I believe they started the year knocking off Jay Sarah. In the Trinity League opener, it was like, and I think that then they kind of fell apart, if I'm not mistaken. That sounds right. But I know they started off hot. Do you remember what happened to Centennial in their opener last year? Aaron, little quiz here.
Didn't they play Mater Dei?
No, they played Santa Margarita and got boat raced, and everyone was like, everyone's mind was blown. And chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. And everyone was like, Centennial, what's going on? And obviously they ended up getting to the Division I semis. They beat Mission Viejo and then ended up playing Mater Dei in the semifinals of Division I. So I'm kind of thinking that might, I don't know. There's a part of why I picked Servite, a little bit of insider, is Corona Centennial scrimmage Sierra Canyon. And Sierra Canyon are my peeps. And I was talking to Corona Centennial people about that scrimmage. And they weren't even all that juiced about the scrimmage. So now again, it's a scrimmage, you're trying different things. So my intel tells me that maybe Corona might just be off to a little bit of a slow start again. And maybe Servite can jump on them and on the road with what I would think is technically, I would think Servite might be a slight underdog in the game. Wouldn't you think?
I would agree.
Yeah, so there you go. So a little bit of pressure's off. Okay, I put Rancho, we don't have to go crazy on this one. Rancho Cucamonga, Murrieta Valley, baseline versus Big West game here. I went Murrieta Valley, and Rancho Cucamonga's got a new coach. They got this Jacob Chambers quarterback who's going to Fresno State, and I think he's gonna, I expect him to have like a breakout year. And I know they got the skills, they got the speed, but Murrieta Valley's got a lot of, I'm just kind of leaning, in my experience, 10 years covering high school football, I always just feel like generally, not always, but generally, the beef is what helps you win games. So I just went with Murrieta Valley because I think they're going to have the size up front on both sides of the line, the size and the experience to move the ball or stop the ball. And they have enough skill in space to mitigate damage from Cucamonga. Okay,
well, unless there's another Bachmeyer brother that I don't know about, that era is over.
Okay.
But maybe there is. I don't know. And obviously Dorian Ho's gone as well for Murrieta Valley. Their leading rusher. So QB, stud running back, gone. So this game to me says questions all over the place, and it's emblematic, Tarek, of I think of most of the southern section. Now, high school football, there is always a lot of turnover because guys, they graduate, they move on. Classes come, classes go, and then you throw in transfers, of course. But this year, more so than many of the recent years, there's a lot more questions than answers, I think, with the top programs this year, and Murrieta Valley is one of them. But the good news is they may be switching to more of a defensive team. The L&L combination of Leos and Lutua, that's their leading tackler, their leading sacker. Those guys are back. So defensively, I think Murrieta Valley is going to be good. Then you look at Rancho. Their questions are the Bishop Amat guys have now cycled out of the program. The guys that jetted out of Amat, specifically the Sermons, they're gone now. The coaching turnover, the coaching unrest, if you will. What effect has that had on the trajectory of the program? I don't know if Rancho is a rising program or a falling program at this point. You know, a game like this will go a long way in telling us that, and it will tell us, you know, more locally for me and, you know, a lot of the people in our chat, as far as the baseline league goes. It's going to tell us, you know, whether Rancho is something that, you know, just lays over the league like they have in certain years, or whether they're just part of the pack of a very tough league. Very interesting result that I'm looking for that night. As far as pick, I'm going to go with Marietta Valley here. Defensive struggle to win a low-scoring game.
For what it's worth, I know we were talking in Spaces last year about Ontario Christian. Remember EPJ would come in and tell us about Ontario Christian, like lighten up the scoreboard? Well, Marietta Valley is waiting for the approval of their quarterback transferred. So
is that Milky?
Yeah, correct. Daniel Milky.
Yeah, he originally started at Bonita, yeah.
So, you know, he's got a little juice, right, Aram? You know, maybe he's...
Yeah, he had a bunch of offers when he was a freshman. I don't like the bouncing around, but, you know, I guess that's just par for the course these days.
Okay, the big one. I'll let you go first on this one, unless you want me to go first. San Clemente at Tustin, big Orange County game. I will repeat what I wrote in here because I think it's... Look, I get paid to write my opinion. It's my job. So I put on paper this matchup is a tale of two programs that operate in different ways. San Clemente's slogan is one town, one team. Very small town feel. Big what's the tradition over there at San Clemente, where Tustin has what I quoted a pop-up program feel with its recent influx in transfers the last few years. What wins out on Friday night? I think this is fair. Not saying Tustin doesn't have culture. It's not what I'm saying. But that is San Clemente's identity. That's an objective fact. So culture or the talent, tough call. And that, even with that said, I think Tustin's going to have a big year here, Aram. I think they were getting it going and learning how to play big boy football. Not Division I, but bigger boy football on Friday nights last year. And I think they're ready. And this game, again, I'm going to use it again, will be a litmus test. Not just if they can play one big boy football game, but if they can do it week in, week out. I think if they can get San Clemente, a solid Alpha League team, and a top 25 team in my rankings in the Southern section, I think it shows that maybe they belong. So I got Tustin.
You're picking Tustin in this game?
I did pick Tustin. And I wrote, but I might regret it. I just really
I might regret it. Here's the thing. Tustin, you know, we want to see some playoff wins out of them. You know, we want to see them, you know, substantiate the great regular season stuff that they've done and play more than an 11-game season. And that's sort of the big thing. And can you win a game over a San Clemente? It would go a long way toward you know, kind of showing that, at least in my opinion, Tarek. This is really, really difficult to pick because on one hand, Tustin is one of the more talented teams in Orange County, but like you said, you know, San Clemente is no slouch.
No way.
Extremely well coached.
Yes.
Players are very, very tough. 6 guys back on offense, 4 back on defense. But when you compare the guys that have offers, Mike was saying today on Twitter, Mike's son, Khalil Terry, plays there. He's one of 7, I guess it is, guys that are D1 type guys on that Tustin roster. And San Clemente only has 2 with offers right now. That, you know, offers don't win games, of course, as we know. But I was going back and forth with this and Mission Viejo Santa Margarita as far as the biggest game in SoCal this in week 0. If like I said, if Mission and Santa Margarita are 1, then this is definitely 1A. If Tustin loses his game, people are going to be like, yeah, you see, they maybe even start calling out the coaching. They may keep calling out the quarterback play because that's kind of been lacking in recent years. This is a team that got stronger again with transfers. I agree with your pop-up reference. People can see on Twitter, you know, the argument that Mike and I got in about this. I don't think there's any question about this. being a pop-up program. Picking the game, I think Tustin is the right side here, but I think this is a one-possession game in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
And if that happens, has Tustin proven that it can beat this kind of opponent in this type of setting? And, this is a very, very big game setting. Do they have it in their DNA? Do they have it in their threads as a football team to win this type of game? Because I know San Clemente does. They didn't have a sexy record last year, but pedigree-wise, that coaching staff at San Clemente and everything, this is not, they're out of the Alpha League. This is not new ground for them. This is a step up for Tustin. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's a step up for San Clemente. Even though they may be a slight underdog
really, for them. I mean, it's just the truth. It's a good game.
Yes.
And they're gonna see they're gonna see speed and talent like that. That's not new to these guys, especially they play in a league with Mission Viejo. I remember we had Jaime Ortiz come onto a Spaces one night, and I forgot who it is they beat. After they beat Edison, maybe, or Damien, they beat someone. Remember, and we had him on.
Yeah, they beat Damien.
Yeah, 42-7.
They knocked him out of the playoffs last year.
And what kind of gives me a little bit, and look, they ended up 6-6. So you're right. They didn't have they only were 1-2 in that league. It's a great league, by the way.
Yep.
They lost to Newbury Park at home in the playoffs last year.
Right.
And again, Newbury Park ended up winning Division II. They were legit. But I don't know. Some of that kind of stayed with me a little bit. So it just made me feel like, despite the culture and the tradition and the discipline at San Clemente, Newbury Park had a handful of really talented guys, nowhere near as talented as Tustin. That's just the truth. And beat them. So different year, I get that, but I'm taking a little bit of those leftovers and applying it to this game. So that's why I picked Tustin. And we'll see. We shall see. Any last?
I'm gonna pick Tustin too, Tarek. Okay, I hadn't made my pick. I'm gonna pick Tustin too.
Sorry.
But boy, if they lose, Mike. Spaces on Friday ain't gonna be pretty, man. But should qualify that. Yeah. Not the end of the season if you lose.
Of course.
You schedule tough games like that. Tustin's schedule is no joke this year. They're gonna drop some of those games. I mean, it's just how it goes. So, losses to really strong programs are not the end of the world, but a lot of that can't win the big one and can't win the step-up game stuff will be out there on Friday night.
Yeah. San Clemente
Great matchup, Tarek.
But Long Beach Poly, Damien, and Yorba Linda is a nice 3-week stretch for this Tustin team before they get into Delta League play, which
they're going to lay over.
I don't know.
Right?
Yeah, maybe Trabuco Hills, or I don't know who would. Maybe El Medina is probably maybe the toughest game in that league. I'm not even sure. Let's keep it moving here. The big one, even for me. You and Fred have gotten me all riled up about this one, and I don't know if you saw my pick, but I think I'm the anomaly. Do you want to go first here, or do you want me to go first? Totally up to you.
Freddie and I previewed this, obviously, and judging by our audience here tonight in chat, I think a lot of people have kind of heard what I had to say about this game. So I don't mind letting you go first. I would just take, slightly disagree that this is the big one. I'm not even sure it's the biggest one in the San Gabriel Valley, quite honestly. Because Bonita's playing Muir. And that's a giant game as well. There's other really good games with really top teams as well. But, it is where Freddie will be. It's where I'll be. Hopefully you'll be out there. Even though part of me is trying to convince our guy, James Brock, that maybe we should go down to Tustin for that game against San Clemente, because that's a phenomenal game.
That would be fun.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I mean, look, I actually don't have much to say. I think I'm kind of just going against the grain here. I feel like sometimes when there's so much, I mean, look, I just got done talking about how I think Bishop Amat's going to finish bottom of the Mission League. But then I thought to myself, how would St. Paul do in the Mission League? Probably finish 5th or 6th. I mean, is that a fair? Okay, yep. All right, okay. So, okay, Tarek, good breakdown. So where does that put Bishop Amat? is this, and I get it. They've fallen on hard times, and it's an uphill climb for Corey Minor. I get it. But something about this, after being there last year, I'm kind of chalking it up to trend. And I know that sounds really stupid. I just don't think St. Paul can beat them twice in a row. That I think it might be that simple. So I know Machete is I listen, that St. Paul experience, I got treated like a season ticket holder or something. Like I had been, I mean, it was awesome. And so could I just pick St. Paul because they were so nice to me? Yeah, I could. I'm not going to do that. I think Ahmad is going to come out and surprise people. I think there's something, all the doubt is got to be firing them up. They got a good coaching staff. I think Minor will have them ready.
Do we know that yet?
No, and that's why I think I can say it. Is that fair?
Well, do we know that they have a good coaching staff?
Well, I mean, they have a coaching staff with a lot of experience and a lot of coaching experience and a lot of playing experience. So I would imagine that, you know, you get around young people, they're going to listen. You know, you get a 70-year-old that's overweight and telling you how to play defensive line, or you get a guy that played a little bit, you know, you might get ears perked up a little bit. So I think there's something to that. And I don't know, man. So I picked Bishop Almont, and I think I said at the top, I don't necessarily have like a rhyme or reason other than I just don't think they're going to let it happen twice in a row. Now, of course, I could be wrong, but I got Almont in this one, man. I think I said I'm taking a flyer here. Almont wins. Go ahead, Aram.
I'm optimistic, I should say, about the Almont coaching staff. I do think that it's unproven as a unit right now. Corey Minor's obviously new to being the head coach of Bishop Amat. Sheldon Price has been there before and is back. That guy knows what he's doing. Of course, DiFiore knows what he's doing. Overall, I'm not really worried about coaching in a situation like this. I'm more worried about talent. Conversely, Mike Machete is one of the best coaches in SoCal, and his staff at St. Paul is one of the best in SoCal as well. So I think edge right there, just because Bishop Amat is a little bit unknown, edge to St. Paul's coaching staff. Let's look now, Tarek, at the totality here, because, you were saying, I don't know that Amat can lose to them twice in a row. 2 years ago, St. Paul was a 2-point conversion away from beating Bishop Amat after rallying from a deficit late in the game. And, they fell short. The 2-point conversion didn't work out. They lost that game. Last year, they dominated the second half, put the clamps on Bishop Amat, and won the game. And it was kind of like a seminal moment, if you will, in the Whittier and San Gabriel Valley areas that, wow, Bishop Amat, talent-wise, they don't lay over the area anymore. They're not dominating the local area anymore the way that they used to. St. Paul, to me, even though their defense is very, very rebuilt, a lot of guys aren't back. St. Paul, to me, there's no question about the trajectory of their program. It's up. Bishop Amat's trajectory is down. Until that direction changes, it's down. Until we see signs that it's changing, it is down. Those kids will come out. They'll try hard. There's no doubt about it. St. Paul is not really a team that puts, a ton of points up in a hurry on you unless, there's help with turnovers there. Theoretically, talent-wise, these should be the same teams. I have seen St. Paul's team photo. I think they're in a pretty good spot this week. Okay?
I love that.
So going off that, I'm picking St. Paul to win that game. The environment, outstanding. Just outstanding, Tarek. And I do hope you come. It's a special place to see a game, but I get it. There's a lot of other things to do on Friday nights, and I don't mean to transition into this, but I did want to hit on it, unless you're not done with this game, about how even for media now, the fan experience or the Friday night experience has changed from you had to be at a game and you had to guess the scores of other games to now being able to sit at home, watch live streaming, follow certain people on X and get highlights from scoring plays, know scores, at the tip of a fingertip, and just kind of get the all-encompassing college football at-home experience and NFL football experience at-home experience are now arriving in high school football, which, sucks for the crowds live at games. But I know it's changing for you. I know that being at the game is not mandatory really anymore for you, even for Freddie.
Yeah, it's I mean, look, I can do more. I got dual screens here, computer, I can watch multiple games. Let's say there's a crazy finish. I can create an article, we call it a breakout post, maybe there's drama, maybe there's a fight. I don't have to scramble on my laptop or find a room up in the press box if I want to write something fast. I can do more work from my computer and watch games. However, nothing, and you'll agree with this, it's not like a hot take or anything, nothing replaces being in the community, letting people see your face, knowing, hey, I'm out here working. When I make a prediction or I write a story or I have a take, it's because I was there. I saw it. I was at practice, whatever the case may be. Now, on a personal note, and you'll know this, and just for the people watching, I'm in the thick of life. I got a 2-year-old. My wife's pregnant with a second kid. She's due in October. It's like when 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and beyond, I was at everything. I try to get to a Thursday night game, a Friday game. I'm at like 4 or 5 basketball games a week. My wife is so understanding that that's just part of the game. Life is different now for me. I can't get to everything. So there are nights, especially in October when we have our boy, I might not be able to get to a game on Friday night. And that's because of life. However, to your point, I can still make up a lot of ground by just watching online, talking to coaches. Hey, you were at that game, Aram. Let's exchange notes. Hey, Brock, you were at that game. What did you see? And then not to mention, you go on Twitter, Fred's got 6 stringers out there covering games. OC Register's got stringers. The Daily News has. So you can read up. You can watch videos on Twitter. I mean, there's ways to cover now without being at games. It is the modern way of covering things and even getting a pulse on things. So it's better to be at games. There's no question. But from a media standpoint, I would agree with you. It is not a prerequisite.
I'm not sure it's better to be at games. There are positives to be at games, yes. And I'm talking as a fan, but not for media. I mean, media is kind of a different thing, but I'm not even sure that it's good to be at games, or whatever, or better to be at games. I think for the fan experience, as long as this experience at home is improving, maybe at home is the way to go. I mean, you don't have to deal with rush hour traffic. You can follow several games. You can watch them streaming. You'll get the highlight of the play if the reporter at the game is worth a crap. Videoing the game. Freddie has good highlights. Gabriel Duarte has good highlights. Other guys across SoCal have good highlights, and they post them right after the scoring play. So you'll be able to tell all that stuff. You'll jump right on Spaces. Don't forget about Spaces after the game to fill in all the blanks and to offer up your opinion. And then in the background, you have college football on ESPN or Fox, that night on Friday nights as well. That messed with me a lot last year, Tarek, is I would get off work from Fox and I would say, okay, I'm off at 6, I'm off at 7, I'm going to, go hit up a game here. But then I'd start watching a college football game, maybe Colorado, Deion Sanders. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not leaving. I mean, I'm getting all the high school updates here. I'm watching Chris Ricks and I think his name is Salinas, stream the St. Paul or Amont game.
Sure.
Great. I'm set. Like you said, though, there is a lot to be said for being out with the community, being out with the fans. There are definitely appeals to that. There's no question about it. But wow, that at-home experience has really, really gotten improved for high school football. And it's thanks to guys like you and Fred and the guys that are Gabriel Duarte. It's thanks to guys like this.
I always tell young journalists and stuff, and we'll start to wrap up here, but I always tell them the best part about being at games, that's where all the good scoops come from. It's when you're sitting in the stands, you're early, or it's halftime, and maybe some crazy uncle or an auntie, or you're just sitting and you're just being friendly with people, and it's like, oh, why are you here? Oh, our son's the quarterback. Oh, nothing. You get to talking, and Penuneri, the running back, like when Fred was talking about him doing taekwondo and playing different
Yeah.
sports, it's kind of well known now because he's such a good player. But, that might be something you discover by being at a game, right? So from a reporter, journalist point of view, that's where the good stuff comes. And it's worth going to games for that. But, yeah, man, if you want to sit back and get, again, my work is different from a newspaper, man. I'm online. I want to crank out not as many, but I want to crank out 4 or 5 articles on a Friday night, and spread the wealth a little bit and see what gets, the most clicks or drives traffic, or what headline can I write to drive, to get this, I'm putting a scoreboard together, top 25, how they fared. So there's so much more work to do other than just writing one game story, filing, getting a burger, and going home. In my opinion, in my job does not, that's not, I don't go to a game on Friday night, spend 6 or 7 hours at a school and write one story. In my opinion, that's a little bit of a waste of time. So if I'm going to, if I go to Amat and St. Paul on Friday, I'm bringing a video camera. I'm trying to find a different way to cover that game and produce content. So that's something, that I'm looking at. That's the lens I look at that stuff through. But yeah, man, I don't know exactly where I'm going to go on Friday night, but the last stat I will say, something about picking Amat. I don't know, obviously Fred is the Amat guy and all that stuff. I have no idea if the Amat community knows that I picked them to win, but wouldn't it be poetic justice to know that Fred picked St. Paul, and if Bishop Amat wins, they carry me out of Kiefer Stadium? No, I don't know. I'm being funny. I don't know, man. Maybe maybe they look at Aram as Judas, or excuse me, they look at Fred as Judas that betrayed them, and I come out smelling like a rose. So we'll see, man. That's not why I picked them, but that could be funny if that unfolds, and that'll make Spaces a lot more fun if Amat does win. And look, you've even said it yourself. Isn't it better for high school football if Amat is somewhat relevant? Now, a win over St. Paul, that's what's interesting about this too, now that I think about it. A win over St. Paul doesn't necessarily make Amat relevant all of a sudden, but it certainly give a little bit more kind of glass half full, I guess. Things are heading in the right direction. I don't really know how to say it, but I'd imagine there's some truth to that.
Yeah, I mean, I do think, the sport is better, when Bishop Amat is good or better, but, sport's also better when St. Paul is formidable as well. They're a hell of a historic program as well.
So for example, Corey Minor, let's go down the rabbit hole. Coach Minor, congratulations, debut win. We weren't sure what week 0 was going to look like. Big win over St. Paul. What do you think his response is to that, something like that? Wouldn't you?
I don't know him that well.
Okay, but wouldn't you think someone from Amat that understands the tradition would go, "We're supposed to win this game. That's why I'm here."
Yes, yeah.
That would be in my opinion, that's not an answer that is boastful or cocky. That's why Amat hired him. This is a guy that knows what the glory days are like, knows what Amat's supposed to be like. So to open up a win at home against St. Paul shouldn't be much home to write about. But it also is an indicator of how far the program has fallen. So I think if they do pull it off, Corey Minor plays it we're 1-0. That's what we're supposed to be. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, and I think like most coaches after a week 0 win, they're going to say, yeah, we got to win, but we got a lot to work on. And, this was week 0 and, the eye is on the prize down the road and stuff like that. I personally don't buy that, from where we sit. We're going to draw a lot of conclusions, and week 0 games do matter. And not just the Bishop Amat St. Paul game, but the ones we talked about, these teams that need to make statements or answer questions. We're going to know, and we're going to be reacting to that come Friday. Is it a season maker or a season breaker? No, it's definitely not. But it's really the first chapter, and the first chapter of a book usually, gives you a good idea as to how the rest of the book is going to go and what that ending may look like.
No, these are tone setters.
Clip that, bro.
And last time, Aaron, before I send you on your way and I close here, just as a recap, I think the litmus test games are for the following programs: Santa Margarita, big game against Viejo, right? We're gonna find out a lot week 0. So it's Santa Margarita. Sierra Canyon is supposed, right? If they're supposed to accomplish and be the best that they've ever been there. So we got Santa Margarita, Sierra Canyon. I think Servite, Corona Centennial, more of a toss-up. Rancho Maria Novella, fine. And then, yeah, we got Clemente, Tustin, and Almont. So I think Almont, Tustin, Santa Margarita, and Sierra Canyon are at least those 4 games we talked about, those 4 programs that we talked about, where there's a little pressure there because expectation is on these teams to perform at a certain level. And these opponents should give us an indicator as to if they can compete at that level.
Yep. It's great stuff, man. We're going to find out a lot. I'm very excited for it. And Tarek, we should say, we'll be back with Spaces on Friday night, Friday Football Flow after the games. You'll start it or I'll start it, and we'll go from there.
I think you're. I mean, look, I'll like in a pinch I can start it, but I think the Spaces. I think the Spaces is that's your baby now.
On Fridays?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, hey.
Spaces After Dark certainly is.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. You guys get into the weeds. And usually, what you fired up usually around 10. Sometimes games are still kind of finishing up, but like 10 o'clock is usually the time. So yeah, Spaces on Friday night for you Twitter fam. Look, hey, appreciate everyone that came and watched. Aram, I'm gonna let you go before I close. Thank you so much for basically co-hosting this episode. We'll see what week 0 brings us, and then we'll have a guest rolling into week 1. Who that's going to be, I don't know. But Aram, I will salute you. Any final words before I roll your bumper and send you out of here with some swag?
Yeah, just real quick. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Thanks to everybody else that's watching live. And like I said, if you're out there watching or even on the replay, let your friends know about this. Encourage them to subscribe to the page. Join us every Monday night. This is only going to get better as the storylines develop. And again, thank you all for joining.
Bye, bro. Bye.
I'm going to go hang.
Bro, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
Guys, that was it. Let me bump a little music on the way out here, man. Okay. Whew. All right, went like an hour 40. Hey, man, when the views are, I mean, we had a solid 60 people in here basically the whole night. So really appreciate everybody being here. Man, we're getting this thing rolling. It's got some. Thanks, Jim. Everyone. Jordan, thanks for watching, man. Jordan Wild, basketball buddy. Dallas, I know you were clocking in and out. Thank you. Steve Ramirez, thanks for hanging out. Sherm, thanks for hanging out. Gabe Duarte, I gotta give it. James Brock, thank you. Chris Ryan, let's see who else was in here. Mike Victor, thanks for subscribing. Big game for Tustin on Friday, man. Jim Phillips, I think I'll, maybe, I don't know if I'll be at Almont. We'll see. I got a little time to think about that. There's a couple there's some great games out there, guys. But look, episode 2 now drawing to a close, guys. Thanks so much for joining. If, look, you can't chat unless you're subscribing, but if you're out there watching, please subscribe to the channel. We're growing this thing. There's layers to it. It's going to get better and better as games get played. Guests are going to come on. And look, without fail, something is going to pop off this year. I'm going to keep repeating myself. Something is going to pop off, and this will be the place where hopefully someone will come on and answer questions about transfers or being ineligible or who knows what, man. Maybe someone gets fired. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. We will see you next Monday night, 8 o'clock, episode 3 of Fattal Factor. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on Spaces Friday night on Twitter. It's time to go now. Peace.